Jed here to provide an organizer overview of the in-session experience of GoToWebinar. When I say in-session, that applies to what happens after you've clicked on a link to join a webinar. Even though this will be a brief overview, we've got additional resources for you in the description. For optimal performance, it's highly recommended that organizers and co-organizers use the GoToDesktop app when hosting a webinar. I'll be using that for this video. Before this video, I created a webinar event that will be using breakout rooms. I also created a survey, poll, and included a video that will be shared. You can create your webinar events on this site if you have a GoToWebinar license. Please view our online resources if you have questions about creating a webinar. As mentioned a moment ago, I'll be using the desktop app for this video, but the web experience of GoTo can be accessed at this site. It should be noted that not all settings will be available to organizers who use the web experience instead of the desktop app. I've already signed in as user Ryan Noble. Take note of the left navigation menu. You may see different icons here depending on what options are available with your GoTo plan. Click the Webinars icon. From this page, you can join a webinar, start a webinar you've created or are a co-organizer of, or even create a new one. If I were to click this button, I'd be taken to the website shown a moment ago where I can create a webinar. Instead of doing that, however, I'll start a scheduled webinar. From the Upcoming tab, select the webinar you wish to start. Before beginning the webinar, I can see the details on this page like the event type, event details, and information related to joining the webinar. If I needed to edit any of this information, I could click on the pencil icon to be taken to the webinar creation page. Click Start this webinar. This screen lets you double check things before starting or joining a webinar. You can edit your display name from here and choose to enable or disable your microphone and camera. The display window reflects what will be shown to others in the session. You may also see the option to use a virtual background if desired. Be sure to enable the audio setting to speak and hear others during the webinar. From the audio options the organizer has chosen to enable, select from the drop-down list the appropriate microphone and speakers. When you're ready, click this button to start or join the webinar.
Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an organizer and may now speak to any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast.
You've now joined a webinar. This banner indicates that you have not started the webinar yet. When you're ready to begin, click Start Broadcast button. Let me talk about a few things before you start the broadcast to attendees. If you need to change the status of your microphone or camera, here's where they can be turned on or off. Depending on the setting you select, attendees may or may not have access to click these buttons during the webinar. You'll notice there is an arrow on the camera button. That indicates you've got additional options. Click that. If I had more than one camera, I could select that here. You'll also see options for things like being able to blur your background or choose a virtual background. Click this button if you wish to record the webinar. When recording, you'll see an icon here in the top left corner. You can click that button again to pause the recording. I'll begin recording again, and please note that pausing and resuming recording multiple times will not create multiple video files. Click the Session Info button in the top left corner of the screen. Here is the information needed to invite others to the webinar. Attendees can join through the GoTo app or through a web browser. Click the Settings icon in the top right corner. The organizer will have different settings than an attendee. Click the Audio tab. From here, you can select your microphone and speakers. If the organizer enabled dial-in options, there will be a phone tab with numbers and the webinar access code. As you can see though, that has been disabled for this webinar. Click the Camera tab. You can select the preferred device here if you have more than one camera. You also have the option to use a virtual background or blur your current one. Finally, click the Session tab. Here you can customize what permissions you want to give your attendees during the webinar, like the ability to ask questions. Please note that some of the attendee permissions will not be available until after the broadcast begins, like allowing your attendees camera and mic access. Two attendees have joined the webinar. Let's begin the broadcast. Click this button.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Click the timer icon. Once a webinar has begun, this time will start to count down so that you can track how much time remains. The organizer can pause or stop the time and elect if they wish to display or hide the time from attendees. The duration will reflect the start and end time you indicated when creating the webinar. If you wanted to change the duration of the timer, click the Tools icon and then select Timer. For this video, I'm going to stop the timer. Click the View Options drop-down list at the top of the screen. Organizers and attendees can choose who they want to see during the webinar and how their screen will be configured. These options can be changed at any time. As a presenter, you also have other layout options. Click the pop-out button in the bottom right corner. In this layout, attendees are shown in a separate area, and you have a smaller panel featuring all of your controls. If desired, you can click the Expand button to find even more options. To return to the previous layout, click the Merge button. Let's talk about sharing your screen. Click the Main Share button. You can select which screen you want to share from here or only select an application. Remember, if you choose a screen, anything on it will be shared with others, including if you switch among different programs. If you do select applications, realize that any you have open but minimized on your computer will not appear on this list. There are options at the bottom of the screen, things like if you want to include media sound. Now we can see the screen or application you've decided to share. When sharing your screen, you'll see a green border on what you're actively sharing. The control button will appear for the organizer when they share their screen. Click on that. The organizer can give remote control to a specified user in the group, allowing them to control what is being seen in the shared space. After granting the control, the other attendee would need to activate the control on their screen by clicking a similar icon that would appear. The organizer can always take back the controls at any point. Click the arrow next to the Share button. Some of these options, like Optimize for video and Share something else, will only be available when you are sharing your screen. Click the Pause button. The border surrounding my shared screen is now yellow, indicating that the sharing process is paused. Even though I can change what I see on the shared screen, attendees will only see a still image from the moment I pause. While paused, I'll click the arrow again, select Share something else, choose a new application, share it, click the arrow once more, and then click the resume button. After clicking the arrow again, select Videos. Now I can see the list of videos I preloaded when I created my webinar event. Select the desired video. I won't do so in this video, but clicking play would begin sharing the video with all attendees. I'm going to stop sharing my screen by clicking the share button. Click the Tools button again. Select Polls from this list. You can choose the polls you designed from this list when creating the webinar. New polls cannot be created from here. You can preview the poll here and click Launch Poll when you're ready to send it to attendees. You can either end the poll with the results only being known to yourself or end the poll and share the results with all attendees. Let's talk about the React button. If I click the main button, it will virtually raise my hand. When an attendee raises their hand, the organizer will receive a notification in the top left corner. This lets the organizer know that the attendee wants to ask a question. Click the arrow next to the React button. From here, you can raise your hand or share a quick emoji reaction with the group. The reactions will then appear on the right side of the screen. Let's talk about some of the icons in the top right portion of the screen. Click the People icon. This section is only available to organizers, co-organizers, and panelists. I have different areas where I can see the people in attendance. I also have the webinar information at the bottom if I need to invite others. You can see who has audio and video devices for this webinar, but that does not mean they have those turned on. The organizer can mute a specific attendee by clicking the mic icon next to their name if needed. Click on one of your attendees. You now have various options, ranging from asking someone to unmute or even being excused from the meeting. If you choose to make one of them an organizer or a presenter, they will be given additional options on their end. Click Create Breakout Rooms. This same window will display if you click the Tools button at the bottom of the page and select Breakout Rooms. Organizers and co-organizers can split attendees into smaller groups for separate discussions. This is a great way to keep attendees engaged, manage conversations, and work in smaller groups. Please view our online resources for additional information about breakout rooms. Click the Questions icon. Organizers and attendees have this icon. Attendees can use this section to ask their questions by typing them. I just received a new question. If I did not have this panel open, a number would appear on this icon to let me know of a new question. When hovering over the question, the organizer can answer, assign it to another organizer or panelist, add a tag, set the priority level, or even answer it through the chat window by clicking the More icon, which looks like 3 dots stacked on top of each other. I'm going to answer this question and then click the Send button. Click the chat icon. Only organizers can initially chat with a group. Before sending the message, the organizer can choose who to send it to. If a single attendee is selected, they will have the option in their chat window to respond. It's only at this point that an attendee would see the chat window. Click the Materials tab. Here are the files you added when creating the webinar. Clicking the More icon to the right of each file name allows you to share that with attendees. You can also upload up to 5 additional files you'd like to share. Click the Attendee Engagement button in the top left corner. From here, you can see information about this webinar, like how many people are in attendance from those who registered. You can see how many of your exercises have been completed and how many questions, if any, have been answered. The attended percentage displays how many attendees have the webinar screen on top of all other applications on their computer. Let's end this webinar. Click this button to do so. I can then end the session for everyone or leave the session and then designate someone else to be the new organizer so that the event can continue. After the session is over, once the video has been processed, it will appear in the video library of the GoToWebinar site. Click the More icon next to the desired video. You have different options in this list, like downloading the video or copying a link to share it with others. That concludes this in-session quick start video of GoToWebinar.